of, the circumstances at hand. The Attorney General of the Federation, spoke to that effect yesterday. We allow you to have a hang of what he said, and then my guest will be in to analyze and give their take on the matter. Take a look to what the learned Silk Lateef Fagbemiese said. He is the Attorney General of the Federation.
Nigeria. Maybe with the efforts of the Mr. President, a Greek will come in, but as of today, we still rely largely on oil. For anyone to touch these pipelines, it's not only the enemy of rivers, it's the enemy of Nigeria. All Nigerians, all the 36 states share in what comes in from the production of this oil. And I believe that the decision of Mr. President is anchored on the decision of the court, Supreme Court, as that. The second one is the inability of those involved, both the House of Assembly and the governor, from being able to, create an enabling environment for the people of Rivers to enjoy the dividends of democracy. Then the third in the series is about the security situation in that place. If he had waited maybe a day longer, only God knows what would have followed. And as a result of that, he came out to say, I am not only the head of state, I'm commander-in-chief of the armed forces, declared a state of emergency. The first question is hasty decision. When should he, I will ask rather rhetorically, when do you think should have come? When everything has collapsed? No. The law envisages that you come in when there is present, imminent danger to the security of lives and property. People who are killing themselves. It's no longer news. It's not a question of making up the story. We all read papers every day. Those who live there are living in fears. So there is certainly the need to come in. We're about 2 years into the administration of in the state. If he didn't come in now, when do you think he should come in? Is it when everything has been destroyed? I don't think so. I think the president has acted timelessly. He has given opportunity to all the people involved, the parties involved, to make amends. Before then, he had assembled them. He had tried to mediate. Some said he had no constitutional power after agreeing. And what they agreed to at the meeting were not implemented. So, to answer your question, I don't think that the president, or let me say, it's not a question of I don't think. I am certain that the president has acted timelessly after giving them enough rope. And as the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, it was a tough decision for him to make. It doesn't present anybody with joy to disrupt the flow of democracy or practice of it. But the Constitution itself envisages that there may be this type of situation. And that was why it is provided in Section 305 of the Constitution that extraordinary situations might arise. This is one of such extraordinary situations. The second one is about, removing the governor, removing the deputy governor. You see, you decide each case on its own peculiar facts and circumstances. Who are the people involved? Who are the parties involved in this saga? They are the governor, members of the House of Assembly. So who else should have been affected? I've heard this funny argument. I'm sorry for saying it is funny because it doesn't make any sense to me.
All right, the Attorney General speaking there, on these issues. We have been joined this morning by, SSA on New Media to Governor Sim Fubara, Honorable Bernard Odike. Good morning, Honorable. Thank you for joining us today.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. And of course, our legal professional here is a lawyer and a public affairs analyst, Barrister Oluwaseun. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Femi. Thank you, Nigeria.
All right, let me start. Yes, we like to start very quickly with, Mr. Odike, your boss, your principal, have been suspended. His deputy has been suspended. The House of Assembly members have been suspended. I need your reaction or the response. There have been no official communication from His Excellency so far on the matter. I'd like to ask you, how is His Excellency taking it? He hasn't talked about it yet, but how did that news, that decision, how did he hit His Excellency? I'm sure possibly didn't see that coming. Honorable Odike.
Yeah, thank you. As you already know, the person of His Excellency Sasinalaye Fubara, Governor of Rivers State, he has always been a cool, calm, collected personality. He's been calm, and he has actually said something. There's a press release, after the decision, by the governor himself. He has addressed the people of Rivers State and the well-meaning Nigerians, and has called for calm, explaining aspects of all that has transpired, how he had, acted according to, reasonable decisions, according to reasonable decisions and or dictates, to ensure that Rivers State moved forward. Well, for where we are, he has called for calm. That's all I can say. The governor has said, there's a press release to that effect. So that's that.
Did you see that coming?
If he saw that coming, well, he is not a mind reader. He wouldn't know, because everybody was surprised that the president decided to address the nation on the state of affairs, in Rivers State, and ended up not just addressing issues in Rivers State, but went ahead and took some overreaching decisions, which, to a greater extent, are being criticized, because talking about, like, I had the Fabemi, the Attorney General of the Federation, or to the federal government, state reasons for, you could see that even while he was saying it, he was stuttering, or sort of, when people are beginning to defend what they're not convinced about. He talked about oil facilities and how it's the source of, revenue for the federation. What about food production in the north and other parts of the country that had also been hampered by insecurity activities all over? In all I am just saying is that it's out of order. The president acted hastily and wrongly. In fact, one thing that the president did was to also tell the world that he has also failed as the commander-in-chief, of the armed forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, by maintaining security all over Nigeria. If they tell you the billions they spend for security of those oil pipelines and all the rest, for instance, what are we talking about? Well, maybe I should stop there. As we go on, I can make these views.
Yes, absolutely.
So that I don't go outside the scope.
Oh, okay, absolutely. We will still come to that, Mr. Odike. Now, I have two questions for you, Mr. Odike. Two questions rolled in one. Number one, my question is this. Do you agree with the opinion, in some quarters that by declaring the state of emergency in Rivers, that the president has actually saved Governor Siminalayi Fubara the shame of impeachment. Do you believe that? Okay, and number two, if so, why then are the House of Assembly members in support of this declaration? That's my question to you. Do you believe that the president has saved your governor of the shame of impeachment?
I was actually going there before I said, let me restrain myself so that I don't go out of the scope of the initial question that was asked. You know, impeachment process is a lawful act and constitutionally backed. So the assembly members deciding to carry out an impeachment process against the governor is in order within their right, legal right to do. But you and I know that impeachment does not mean removal. Impeachment could fail. The impeachment process could fail at certain points. Yeah, they could succeed at the legislative point, but at the level of judiciary, where a panel to investigate the allegations leveled against the governor could also fail. And when that happens, it becomes the end of it. They knew that that impeachment process would not run through, that it would fail. And that was why, you know, all that's happening is just orchestration. And I'm surprised that a man like Mr. President is falling for this cheap trap. The same thing Wike did that brought down Jonathan, the same thing he's doing. And let the Mr. President, like I have said and have maintained, we were those who worked and ensured that the president won this election because of conviction of the reality of North and South. We worked and ensured that he became president. We voted for him and convinced our people to vote for him to make him president. Wike alone didn't make him president, but Wike failed in his polling units. Wike failed, the president failed in Wike's polling unit, failed in his ward, and failed in his IGA. The rest is history. In my place, I can show you the results under where I have influence and all the rest. We delivered not by cheating, by clean and clear voting in my place. But
Mr. Odike, sorry to cut in. Mr. Odike, please hold on. Sorry to cut in. I just want you to address the question. Do you really agree with that opinion in some quarters that the president is actually saving Governor Fubara from impeachment?
No. Look, they already knew. That's why you can see that the assembly members are happy. You know, like as I'm talking to you, immediately after that decision, like as we are today in Rivers State, the supporters of Wike are jubilating. And now they're even calling on the sole administrator to set in motion processes for local government election. Are you understanding me? You begin to understand that this is an orchestration, you know, well orchestrated scheme to usurp the power that they vested in the people of Rivers State, who elected these officials of government that have been a kind of, I don't know where the president got the powers to do so. The president has the power to declare state of emergency, but lacks the power to remove or even suspend the governor. Well, the president is also saying that he too can be removed by, you know, undemocratic means. So the president is not helping the governor. He is not. He's helping Wike and his group. He's not helping governor.
Oh, okay.
And I pray that today the National Assembly members will sit up, you know, and then stand up to defend democracy, to ensure that approval is not given to that, undemocratic, overreaching decision of the president.
All right, Mr. Odike, we'll come back to you. We have a barrister, as part of this conversation. Barrister Jabbar, what do you make of his development? The president says Section 305, subsection 3, and every of those, components, it gives a reason why something must be done. If you want to do this, part of that 305 talked about the governor is the one that should call for a state of emergency. But if he's not doing that, that's subsection 5, then the president, after waiting for some time, can do that. Number one, the grounds given for state of emergency as a legal, professional, do you think that those grounds are already on ground right now? Number two, the issue of the suspension of elected officials, how legal is that, Barrister Jabbar?
Well, thank you. Well, let me begin to say that by virtue of provisions of Section 305, Mr. President has powers to declare state of emergency. And in declaring state of emergency, when we are talking of the public order, issue of security...
If you can please speak up, sir.
okay, as like, Attorney General of the Federation was saying, that the president has powers to declare state of emergency. I agree in total, particularly when you are looking at some things. Though the issue of the, that started a few days ago by the Ijaw people will also be joined to the issue of security, by virtue of which Mr. President could hide under this to declare state of emergency. And in declaring state of emergency, it will only mean that, okay, those areas, lives are no longer safe, properties are no longer safe. Deploy military men, unlike the usual democratic setting. The constitution of things presently require this much emergency. So, the area could be militarized. But when you're talking of removal of the governor of the state,
suspension, Mr.
President does not have such power. The removal of the governor.
Suspension, barrister, it's a suspension, yes, not a removal.
No, whichever way. Whichever way, it's removed for a season. The governor is removed for a season. Now, the provision of the Constitution or removal or suspension or whatever of the governor, the removal or suspension will only mean as to time, as to the period. Removal could be total, while suspension is for a season, for a while. Now, Section 188 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, provided for those things, the what's to follow, and in removing a governor. Mr. President declaration is not one of such. Mr. President, states are components of the federation. They function on their own. Only those things that that are bringing them together are nothing more than the revenues and some other things. A state, it should be allowed to function on its own. A governor was elected by his people, and not by virtue of the president. What Tinubu did a few days ago was nothing but a coup. A coup d'etat, and the implication when a coup is actually undertaken in any environment. What he did was nothing but a coup d'etat, and it's unfortunate that a person of Mr. Tinubu will be the one to be found in this messy situation.
Okay, all right, barrister.
Sorry?
Oh, okay, all right, barrister. I just want to quickly mention this, just in line with what you're saying. The action of Mr. President by suspending the governor, his deputy, and the duly elected members of the House of Assembly. Let us quickly compare it with what happened in 2013 when President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan declared a state of emergency on 3 states of the Federation, Adamawa, Borno, and Yobe states. Now, these states, we're having situations far worse than what we have in Rivers State today. President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan declared a state of emergency, but he did not remove the functionaries. He did not remove the governors, their deputies, neither did he suspend also the members, elected members of the houses of assembly of the states. My question to you, barrister, is this. You have said, according to you, that what the president did was wrong. You actually described it as a coup. Now, as a legal practitioner, Barrister Joba, what legal actions can be taken against the president, against President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for taking this decision?
Before coming to that, I will take you back even beyond 2013 and all those stuff. Now, in 2004, you will recall that Dariye was also removed by Obasanjo.
Absolutely.
When he declared state of emergency. It was eventually contested, and Supreme Court said it, that it was unconstitutional for a president to remove a governor. Similar thing happened under Obasanjo in 2006 in Ekiti State, whereby the state of emergency was declared and the elected officers were removed. Fayose went to court, and the Supreme Court also said that it was unconstitutional, if you will recall. And that formed the basis for Jonathan not suspending or removing the elected officers. Like some of us will still believe, like we will say, Jonathan remained about the only Democrat we've had so far to have ruled Nigeria. Unlike the people that we are having. Now that because certain situations had happened, issue of security, issue of things not doing that they would do, hide for a president, hiding under Section 305 to have declared state of emergency, and Supreme Court having decided that such action of removal of elected officers were wrong, ordinarily a democratically elected president who is truly a Democrat ought not to fall into such error. If there is no other thing, but somebody who wants to believe what will happen. You know, my brother SSA to the the governor of Rivers State was talking the other time that the National Assembly, of course, we know the National Assembly that we have presently. We know them. Yesterday, I think yesterday must have been a small spring, but today I'm sure you see things would have gone wrong, and you will see them actually stamping it. But they will do that also at their own peril, because virtually everybody in the Senate or National Assembly, the National Assembly generally, is also a potential governor. So they should also know that whatever they will be sowing today will also be hidden under by somebody to also declare them, to also remove them in the office, or suspend them, or so to say. And if you recall, it is suspension in the first 6 months in the first instance. You will recall 6 months in the first. That is the. Even after 6 months, I will still review. Maybe I will continue. Maybe I will make it total, or I will extend it.
Yeah, they're actually threatening to extend it. The AG have made allusion to that. They're actually threatening to extend it. But Barrister, the question is this. Barrister, the question is this: what legal action can be taken at this point against Mr. President for his decision? Legal
action had already been taken. A court granted an injunction yesterday in Rivers State.
All right.
Yesterday.
All right,
the man should not resume in the House of Assembly.
No,
in the State House.
No. Sorry.
I think Mr. Dike has something to say to that. Barrister, please hold on.
There's no such court order yet, please.
Barrister, I believe Mr. Odike is saying there is no such order. Mr. Odike, please, let's have you.
No. He has issued a disclaimer to that. The chief of staff. The chief of staff has actually issued a disclaimer to that. There is no such court order.
All right.
All right. That's that for that.
Honorable Odike, let me come to you. Barrister Joba,
I'm just informing you.
Okay, let me finish with this. Of course, like it happened 2004, 2006, and others. This draconian declaration should also be challenged in court. It should be challenged because it's actually nothing more than being draconian. Because by the time you have Supreme Court decision on certain specific action, you ought not, if you are truly a Democrat, you ought not to go into that error, into that situation. And when AGF was justifying it and even the removal, I laughed. Do you know why I laughed? Of course, I know that when a lawyer is being called to bar, what he's getting on the day of call to bar is license to differ. But and you also look at the person that is talking. I know, Lateef Fagbemi is a respected member of the bar and somebody who, unfortunately, where he found himself, will have to be justifying a situation, a phenomenon as this.
All right.
Very sure, like my brother said the other time, it was also stuttering.
All right. Barrister Joba,
the governor far later.
All right. Barrister Joba, please allow me. You talked about the Attorney General of the Federation, somebody who has done very well for himself, and not just that he's a lawyer, he's a senior advocate of Nigeria, and many persons know him for his forthrightness. But then, the Lateef Fagbemi, before I come to Honorable Odike, that spoke yesterday and defended these things, and many persons will say, precedents, antecedents, history are part of what makes up our legal jurisprudence. And he sat there yesterday and defended the decision of the suspension without citing any legal precedents to that. Many persons say that was a political AG help there. And many persons say this is a man that has spoken about things that affected governors of his party and is very blunt. Now, with what we saw yesterday, is this still throwing the place of the law? Although he defended it, he mentioned the economic part, he mentioned the political angle to that, he mentioned the fact that no president will just sit and look, and that while some persons were threatening the state, the governor, that's why we ask Mr. Odike shortly, didn't disconnect himself. He rather kept quiet while these things was going on. How would you describe the action of the AGF yesterday, Mr. Ojaba?
Like I was saying, that when a lawyer is being called to the bar, that day he got the license to defer. But when you now look at Mr. Fagbemi, he's, like I said, very respected personality in the bar. When a person, let me use the word a person, not necessarily the AGF or a lawyer now, is talking, if you look at the location where they found themselves, when talking about what you use them to know, and what you used to know about them, what you know that this person used to be. Now look at the location of where the person was and where he is. Fine, you said that he has done so well and very well for himself. But you know, when you are the Attorney General of the Federation and something like this is happening, you are bound to defend your master. Very few people would do what some reasonable people would do, that, Mr. President, I beg to differ, I would rather resign. That is, you know, you can hardly see that in Africa. It's unfortunate. We want to hold on to power unnecessarily, even when our holding on to it is no longer, it's really affecting us. It's making us to lose the relevance that we have actually gotten by our own doing for ourselves over the years. That is the situation with Mr. H.
Yeah, you know, I had to ask that because when it comes to legal advice, one we expect that, you know, the AGF of the Federation will be, you know, I don't have a proof to that, but you will expect that the AGF and other senior lawyers will have given, you know, perused the matter and given the president legal advice. The president cannot just stand up and say, I want to go on with this decision. He must have been part of the people who gave the government, and in this case, the president, the advice to say, Your Excellency, this is how we are supposed to go about it. Will you call such an advice to go ahead and suspend elected officials a sound advice?
You know, what I'm trying to say is, this is a country where impunity reigns supreme. Where, if not, I am very sure Fagbemi in his heart, in his mind, will know whatever would be done in respect of this, that has to do with the removal, the suspension of elected officers of a state.
All right.
Permit
me, sir. Kindly hold on, sir. Let me come to Honorable Odike. There is this narrative that many persons have been saying, and then AGF said it yesterday as well, about the threat by some non-state actors supporting your principal. And while your principal didn't deny, he didn't condemn as well all of those persons to say, he's the one in charge of that state. Guys, we can't afford to do this. I know you are supporting me. No official statement on it. Instead, there was a forum, I'll allow you to see that video shortly now, where he spoke and said, youth, when the time is right, you will get a signal. Just hang in there, I'll allow you to see that video shortly.
No matter how we've been fooled in this state, it has gotten to a point where this state have decided to take their destiny by their hands. Inasmuch as I don't subscribe to violence, when the time comes for us to take a decision, I will lead the cause for that decision. Let me say it again, and let me say it again. I'm not scared of anything. The worst that will happen is me to leave the office. It's not. Am I leaving the earth? Is it going to stop me from existing? So I'm not even bothered about that. But the right thing must be done and must be said when the opportunity is given to us. So let me thank everyone, more especially is our youth. Be strong. Don't be battered. Be strong. I assure you, at the right time, you will get the instruction.
Is it the instructions that we have been seeing, the signals? Are the youths now having the instructions? Almost 3 instances of pipeline vandalization. Will you agree, Honorable Odike, that yes, your principal goofed on this matter?
When I was listening to the Honorable Attorney General of the Federation yesterday, I laughed. I will answer the question, but let me take it from this angle. When they asked him question about why did the president not address Wike, he defended Wike, that Wike is not a party in the matter. Yet the Honorable Attorney General is adducing motive without evidence. What the governor said, remember he said that he does not subscribe to violence. That's a reasonable leader. He does not subscribe to violence. What he's trying to say is that he has the overwhelming support of Rivers, the vast majority of Rivers people, who are ready to, they are blaming him that he's a weakling. And I try to tell people who call the governor a weakling that, look, they don't understand that this Wike is trying to convince the president to declare a state of emergency in the state in event of any show of breakdown of law. So the governor is also very mindful of that. He had always had the disposition of being peaceful and handling things according to the rule of law. The governor does not have any issue of going against the rule of law. He said when the right time comes, and the governor, in the best interest, in my best knowledge, has not issued any instruction to anybody to go and commit any act of violence. He has always said that he believes in the renewed hope agenda of the president. He has always said that as a member of the committee for security and protection of national assets like the pipelines and all the rest across Niger Delta regions, that he is doing, and he has shown commitment to it by giving security aids, support to the military to ensure that there is adequate security of those national assets. How would such a person now turn around and sponsor people when he had said that, look, with more production of oil, that it also will mean more revenue into the state for more developmental and then other projects and activities of government? Look, let me tell you, the governor made it very clear.
So that we speak to the truth here, how do you explain when the time is right, I will lead the cause? Youth, you will get the signal.
Like I have just told you now.
Yeah.
Even at a point when the governor should get agitated and get angry and issue, a statement to say, look, we no agree.
Mr. Odike, don't you think you are deflecting? You are not answering my question.
No, when he
said, when the time is right, I will lead the cause. Youth, you will get the signal. What does that mean?
No, even in the face of illegal removal of the governor from seat, I've just told you that the governor has issued a press release where he has spoken to Rivers people and well-meaning Nigerians to say everybody should do what? Remain calm. He did not say let's go to war. The governor, look, let me also tell you something. Femi, do you even look at this? That last week Saturday, when Wike Group had a plan to have when they had their civic reception and Thanksgiving at a community called Abalama in Asari Toro local government area in Rivers State, even against the instruction and the direction of the Kalabari traditional rulers to advise, because IYC members were also agitating that they will also have their emergency convention in that same community that day. Kalabari traditional rulers issued an instruction that please, even wrote to the Commissioner of Police to ask that none of the events should take place to avert breakdown. I'm coming to avert breakdown of law and order in their place. The Wike Group still went ahead to have that program. Ordinarily, that program was like a setup to allow for a showdown, but that showdown didn't happen. So when that was averted, and they have also known, like I said earlier, that the impeachment process will not succeed. So hastily, you can imagine the president saying, giving reasons why he declared state of emergency and suspension of the governor. That because a pipeline was blown, that he has mediated. How did the president mediate? The president is actually.
Okay. Please hold that thought. Please hold that thought, Mr. Odike. We'll go on a short break now. When we return, we will continue with this conversation. Thank you for staying with us. Oluwaseun Ajoba, a legal practitioner and public affairs analyst on the emergency rule in Rivers. Opinions differ. Governors have disagreed with the federal government, and we've been having this conversation. I'm coming back to you, Mr. Odike. The Attorney General of the Federation. I hope you're still with us, Mr. Odike. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you.
Thank you. So the Attorney General of the Federation has made serious allegations, against Governor Siminalayi Fubara. Part of the allegations was that that is talking about the suspended governor now, guided militants to blow up pipelines. These are very serious allegations. As senior special advisor to the governor, what should we expect from the camp of your principle from the camp of the governor, suspended governor of Rivers State at this point?
It's quite unfortunate that the person of Fabemi, the Honorable Attorney General of the Federation, could reduce himself to such level of, careless talk, to so accuse or allege against the governor of Rivers State without any ultra of evidence other than what the governor said. Like I was explaining, the governor said, I don't subscribe to violence. And when the right time comes, I will issue instruction and also lead. And I said, even in the face of illegality, the illegal removal of the governor has issued a press release where he said that everybody should remain calm, that the right thing will be done, and so on and so forth. The governor did not issue any statement for anybody to even go and fight. The governor has practically shown commitment to security of national assets because he has said that he's part of the committee for the security and protection of national assets such as the pipelines, oil installations in the Niger Delta. He has also shown commitment by supplying security equipment such as gunboats and so many other facilities to support security work here in the Niger Delta. Recently, he even donated a helicopter to the Nigerian Air Force to aid this security work. So how can somebody come and accuse such a person, to being a party to such criminal acts?
So, Mr. Odike, because of time, should we expect legal action from your principal? Should we expect any legal action from Governor?
To me, I think it should be so because Fabemi overstepped his legal responsibility or legal whatever to make the libellious allegation against the man and person of Governor Siminalayi Fubara, the governor of Rivers State. In fact, it should be, that action should be immediately. If you ask me.
Absolutely. Moving to Barrister Oluwaseun Ajoba. Barrister, if you're still with us, considering the gravity of these allegations made by the Attorney General of the Federation, you are a legal practitioner. What is your opinion? What do you say to this? What do you expect the governor of Rivers State, suspended governor of Rivers State, to do at this point? Because these are very serious allegations coming from the Attorney General of the Federation without evidence, as it is. Barrister Ajoba, are you still with us?
I'm here now.
Okay, so I said, talking about the serious allegations made against the suspended governor of Rivers State, Governor Siminalayi Fubara, by the Attorney General of the Federation. What do you expect from the governor of Rivers State in this case? What legal action can he actually take? Because these are very serious allegations made against him without evidence, without proof. So in your opinion, as a legal practitioner, what do you advise the governor, the suspended governor of Rivers State, to do at this point? What legal action can he take at this point, based on these serious allegations leveled against him?
Whatever the situation, God has given us our courts to ventilate whatever anger or maybe cheating or anything that we may thought that we may think that we have suffered. So because of this, I think on the allegation of the Attorney General of the Federation, sincerely, there's no point joining issue with such person. They are not of the same level. Attorney General of the Federation is an appointee of the President, representing a state, who can be discarded. You can be discarded by today, tomorrow. Mayor reshuffle and is gone. The governor is not the same pedestal with him. Okay, joining issue with him, like my brother here said, is a cool, calm, and a collected person. By the time you are throwing stones at all dogs barking when you are going somewhere, if you don't care, if you are not careful enough, you won't get to where you're going. So I think Mr. Fubara should just keep his calm and get his people and face the main issue.
Oh, so he should let it slide.
Illegality of his removal.
So, Barrister, you are saying the governor should let it slide. He should let this slide, just like that.
No, you don't join issue with everybody. They don't operate. They are not supposed to be operating at the same level. He's not the spokesman of the president, so he's thinking that would be his opinion. Of course, Mr. President and Mr. Governor may want to say he has maybe that would be slander or libel or whatever. But I don't think that would be issue. It would be nothing but a distraction.
All right.
He should go ahead on challenging the illegality of Mr. President's action of his removal. That's the issue.
But can it the president enjoys barrister. Yeah, the president enjoys immunity. He cannot be sued, can he?
His office can be sued.
You can challenge the action of Mr. President when it is, Mr. President is acting in his official capacity. He cannot. The immunity is that he's not liable personally, and that's why he cannot be arrested or something. But it's not as if his actions cannot be challenged
at the court. All right.
Of course, fair enough. And the President of Nigeria in 1983, and several cases like that. Right. You can challenge actions of public officers. You might not be. You are talking about immunity as to the criminal aspect and being held liable for those things personally.
I heard Mr. Odike saying that his office can be sued. Barrister, is that right? Mr. Odike was saying that.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. He's a public officer, so whatever he's doing now, he's doing it in his committee as the president, not the committee as Tinubu. So it is that you cannot sue. You can sue office of the president. You can sue the of the federation.
All right, Barrister, let's take you from this point. Two questions for me. Number one is this: all of these things, the president referenced the political gladiators. He said the camps, the warring camps now, politically warring camps, that he has tried to intervene, and his resolutions, his intervention were ignored. So maybe that's the tsunami that got off, Governor Fubara, his deputy, all the House of Reps members. Now, in a statement released by the House of Assembly members, they said they have accepted the decision, and they applauded the decision of Mr. President to suspend, to call a state of emergency and to suspend all of them. When we say you are being removed from office, you are happy. That's number one. What does that say? That number two, in all of these things, the suspension of Governor Fubara, the deputy, and the House of Reps members, many persons will say when the resolution was being made, when that intervention was done in Abuja, former Governor Wike was part of the resolution. And he's still part of it politically. The president has been silent on him so far. The Attorney General of the Federation was silent on the matter of Wike yesterday. You suspended the people that ignored your intervention. That is the Governor Fubara, according to the president, the deputy, the House of Reps, the House of Assembly members. But another main interested party is the Wike that is working with him. He has been silent on the matter. How do you describe that, Barrister Ajoba?
Well, the major issue behind all this is 2027. We have a Mr. President who started thinking of 2027 the very first day he was sworn in. And when you have people like that, usually the attention to governance is always tainted. When you speak the truth to them, they want to see you as you are probably working against my re-election. When you do something, they want to see you as not working in line with what I believe, and all they believe you are talking about is about re-election. 8 years, nothing more. That's the truth. So when Mr. President is talking about is leaving Wike, and AGF, all of them are leaving Wike, what they are still believing is that Wike is still a machine. They believe that, unlike what my brother here is saying now, that Wike is still a machine who will also go to that river state and deliver rivers to them. And so they believe that one man is enough to deliver the place
in the principle of fairness. Sorry, sir. In the principle of fairness and as a father, is that right?
I just said that somebody who is seeing a person tell him the truth as an enemy cannot be, you don't start judging whether it's right or wrong, but what the truth is that the way to have good governance and actually
exactly my point.
Senate.
Thank you, Barrister.
It's unfortunate, It's unfortunate. Though some of us don't believe Tinubu, we don't see Tinubu as a Democrat. If you have followed the election of the Lagos State since his election, you will see that there has not been democracy in Lagos State. So when the issue of Mr. President, he raised revenue and all those stuff, during those times, I was looking at it. revenue, you raise revenue at the expense of putting people in poverty. And you can see what is happening today. What you are paying in your banks when you make a transfer of 1 naira or 10 naira, you know what you are paying. When you know, those are the issues. Unfortunately, those are the things that people are seeing as a campaign issue. So Mr. President is not really interested in good governance in that place. And when he said he mediated, what is mediation about? Mediation, you listen to all parties. I mean, you know what? Whatever they discussed at that mediation at that time, free side out. We all saw it. Somebody was even shouted down. Those are the things that we heard. Is that how to mediate? And you are already before even starting, you have put a party on another, and you're saying you are mediating.
Okay, I will come back to you. I will come back to you, Barrister.
We always be wanting. When you have somebody who cannot speak the truth, Mr. Wike, you are the minister here. You are once a governor in that place. Can you please allow these people? Please, I want you to work for me and leave River State to let's see what Rivera will do in this place. Leave him for us, and then we will find a way of winning him and letting him know, so he won't be distracted.
All right, Barrister. So, I will come back to you very shortly.
I've been extremely distracted.
Thank you.
That the man has
I will come back to you shortly, Barrister. Very quickly, let me go to Mr. Odike right now. Barrister, please hold that thought. I will come back to you very shortly. Mr. Odike, you are in Port Harcourt, I believe, and I'd like to ask you, what is the public perception of the legitimacy or the legality of this declaration of a state of emergency by the president on River State? What is the public perception so far?
It's very clear. Rivers people are not happy. You know, like yesterday, my mother-in-law and father-in-law called me all the way from their hometown, you know, and we are, you know, expressing misgivings and also praying that all shall be well. You know, so that's the spirit in Rivers State. People are not happy, you know. The Rivers people are so disappointed with Mr. President for this. In fact, they are saying that he doesn't, that what the state of, even though he has the legal right to declare state of emergency as enshrined in Section 305, that what he had used as reason to declare state of emergency in Rivers State does not warrant it. You know, Rivers State is peaceful. Ordinarily, yes, we knew that Martin Amehule and co were planning to impeach the governor. We were not part of, we were not worried because we knew. You look at it, immediately they started blackmailing the chief judge because they tried, from feelers, they tried lobbying him to get him on their side, to do their bidding, and he refused. So next thing was to now take the angle of allegation of falsification of age. You know, see desperation. And when they find out that they cannot have their way, that the chief judge will not play ball with them to do their bidding, rather he's an upright man, he will do what is right. Next thing, they have directed, even, you know, illegally, that DSS should investigate him. You can imagine that. You know, so my brother, Rivers people are not happy, and I can tell you, President Tinubu should be advised to rescind his illegal action in Rivers State. Else, what happened to Jonathan will happen to him. He may not get that second term he desperately wants. All right,
Mr. Odike. Coming back to you, Barrister Joba, very quickly. Barrister Joba, what should we expect from the National Assembly at this point? What does it take to annul the president's decision to impose a state of emergency in Rivers State? So what should we expect? The National Assembly will be meeting today. I believe the House of Representatives and the House of Senate as well. So what should we expect from them at this time?
You know, by the provision of the Constitution, if the National Assembly is in session, Mr. President has only 2 days, only 2 days, within which he must get the nod, the Senate and House of Rep. And if they are not in session, he has 10 good days, within which he must get the nod. So if he doesn't, now National Assembly is in session. So he has to the close of work today to get the nod. And unfortunately, I don't really think we have a National Assembly like we should have. And that's why I think the 8th Assembly will continue to be the National Assembly that every Nigerian should be praying.
How do you mean, Barrister? I'd like you to clarify that. How do you mean that we do not have the National Assembly
that will make law that will override the president's assent? National Assembly that will tell the president that this thing that you are doing, we are overriding you. You cannot do it in the interest of Nigeria. this National Assembly that we have presently are more like comedians.
Oh, so are you saying, Barrister?
National Assembly that is fighting Natasha because of seats of what the same man, when he was a minority leader, fought over. Thank God for social media. He's everywhere. Mr. What do you call it? Akpabio stood stoutly against the then Senate president. Not even sitting now, even standing to address and refusing that he doesn't even want to be where he was allocated. And because of that, they are now allocated. When Supreme Court has also said that National Assembly does not have power or right to suspend a senator or a member of House of Rep.
So, Barrister, please, coming back to the topic. Coming back to the topic right now.
Yes, now.
Barrister, are you saying, are you saying categorically that the current National Assembly, that you do not think they have what it takes to take a stand right here and annul the president's decision?
Have you seen them taking any stand? They have no stand to take other than to bow to on your mandate.
Interesting. All right.
We don't have a National Assembly.
All right. That's a serious one.
To see what they can make out of Nigeria, how they can fleece Nigeria.
But you said we don't have a National Assembly. We do have.
National Assembly
that can take a stand.
As we should have in the real sense of National Assembly.
All right. Quick one.
You know what I mean when I say we don't have National Assembly.
Good that you have clarified, right. I understand the principle of check and balance and all of those things, the enormous power that they have.
Rubber stamp. Mr. President has said this, we have to do it.
All right.
The man said the other time. Whatever Baba said, we will stamp.
All right. We learned the Minister of FCT has reacted to the matter. Gentlemen, and of course our distinguished viewers, I'll allow you to see this coming from Minister Wike.
Everyone to go about with his or her legitimate endeavors. We clearly respect and guarantee the rights of all the political parties, their candidates, and their supporters to unfettered political campaigning throughout the state. However, we're also conscious of our supreme duty to protect lives and property by ensuring that the campaigns are not characterized by violence and are carried out within legal limits, coupled with a high sense of responsibility.
All right, I understand there is a mix-up there, but then the reaction of many critical stakeholders in this matter, the People's Democratic Party have rejected that decision. The PDP governors have spoken on this decision to say no. The MBA has rejected the decision. Many legal luminaries, learned senior advocate of Nigeria, Femi Falana, spoke on a news chat yesterday and said that is wrong. The president does not have that power. And the issue, possibly a lacuna of extraordinary measures to keep a peace. Maybe that is what is being used. Many persons are rejected it. The APC have applauded it. The suspended local government, House of Assembly members have accepted this. But what do you think this makes of us? This is for Barrister Joba, and I'll come to Honorable Odike. In the eyes of the world. But then one will say the president has a duty, to superintend the nation, and he has the power by the laws to do some certain things. But he will not always do what pleases the people. Don't you think this is one of it, Barrister Joba?
Mr. President has powers to do some things, but not suspension of a governor. And this is one too much for us. Like I've said that, I will say it again. When specifically the Supreme Court had interpreted this same section in respect of same action taken against some past governors, that it is unconstitutional and illegal for a president to sit in his Abuja place to say he's suspending a governor, he's removing a governor. So Supreme Court having decided that issue is laid to rest, and it should be forever. So hiding on that, now some of the things that vandalized, I think some of them was actually in Bayelsa, not only in Rivers State. And you're talking of Ijaw Nation as the people that are really protesting. How then do you link? Because somebody comes from a tribe, is it an offense? That some people are saying something, and it's not as if you have arrested
the president in that nationwide broadcast, sorry sir, and the AGF has said, when these people, whoever they are, were making this threat the governor didn't shout them down. They were making a threat in his support. He didn't disconnect himself. He didn't condemn it. Maybe that's a tacit approval. You don't agree?
No, but if that is the basis for this humongous unconstitutional decision, it's a very terrible one for Nigeria.
All right.
And our democracy.
All right. Let me come to Honorable Odike. Yes, Mr. Odike.
Coming from that place.
All right. Please hold on, sir. Mr. Odike, the National Assembly members at your state seems to be in support of this. One of them is Solomon Bob, one of the House of Rep members, and he spoke yesterday on a news program, and he called your principal very, derogatory names. He said he's arrogant, that possibly Governor Fubara, as your principal, has different persona, that he cut across people as this gentle, calm, reserved person. But in actual sense, he said for people that know him like himself, he can be arrogant, he's haughty in nature, and that is the person that doesn't want to listen to anybody. That's how he described your principal. What do you have to say about that, Solomon Bob?
Well, Honorable Solomon Bob is my very good friend.
All right. Knowing fully well, all of you used to be in the same camp.
He's my friend, even till tomorrow, and he's one of the allies of Governor Wike. We have a splitted National Assembly members from Rivers State. We have a good number of them supporting the governor, and then some supporting that's his own personal opinion. While he was on Channel's television, he even called the governor a felon. And then I think Sheun Akimbola, what you call him, tried to make him retract that statement, though he tried defending it. It's within his right to say whatever he feels, but the world knows who Fubara is. Fubara is not a haughty person. Fubara is not a violent person. Fubara is a man who is calm, a man who is respectful. Look, see, Wike today is enjoying what he's enjoying because Governor Fubara never thought it in his mind to undo him. Else, like the National Organizing Secretary of PDP said once, not too long, that, in the face of the River State PDP crisis, that why is Fubara now looking for to control the party in the state, that when they gave it to him on a platter, that he deferred it to Wike. And when I see people say that the governor is ungrateful, that he started working against his benefactor, I laugh. Because if Governor Fubara wanted to upstage Wike from day one as he was sworn in, he would have started the scheming, but he did not. He believed that he was administrator, that let Wike remain the political leader of the state. And Wike now took advantage of his humble disposition to undo him with his ulterior motive of trying to now control him to be a pawn or a puppet, to run, use him as for his third term, invisible control of River State. That's where we are. Governor Fubara is not somebody you can say is haughty. In fact, I'm telling you, the President SSG, during his Thanksgiving in Abonima, in Akokotoro local government area of River State, made a statement. He said while he's working with Governor Fubara, that his BP has been normal compared to the previous time. He was SSG to under Wike. So you can use that to know if people who are working under the governor are attesting. In fact, look, when I am, you know me, I don't know whether you knew, I was an ardent supporter of Wike until 30th of October, 2023, when the whole crisis blowed up. One thing, when I was appointed as a media aide to the governor, and then right in the government house there, those workers, those staff in the government house, the opinion they hold about Wike is that they call him Nebuchadnezzar, they call him Pharaoh, and I was defending him. Even to the detriment of my own person, I didn't even know what was happening. I was defending him.
All right, Mr. Odike.
He was really, there are a lot of things people have done about him.
All right, we'll come back to that.
I'm coming. But today, in the midst of these same people, you get to hear what they say about Governor Fubara. A good person is a good person. Governor Fubara is a good man.
Oh. All right, Mr. Odike. All right, Mr. Odike. Because of time, let me go to Barrister Joba very quickly. Barrister Joba, you have said that you do not believe that the current National Assembly has what it takes to take a stand on this matter. So, Barrister Joba, let's just say, hypothetically speaking, okay, if the National Assembly do not, annul the decision of the president. Barrister Joba, can you hear me, please?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, I said, you have said in your opinion that you do not think that the current National Assembly has what it takes to take a stand of their own. So I'm saying, hypothetically speaking now, if the National Assembly today do not overrule that decision of the president concerning the state of emergency in Rivers State, now we have a state of emergency to last an initial period of 6 months. My question is, what are the legal limits to the duration of a state of emergency? What are the legal limits to the duration of a state of emergency, and under what conditions can it be extended?
State of emergency as provided for under that section of the Constitution can be all through the tenure of the person, if eventually, if they think that the governor or something is the problem, but you don't have right to remove him, like I said. And for it to also stay, it must enjoy the nod of National Assembly within 48 hours. Within 48 hours, if they are in session, and they are in session now.
Yeah.
But if they are not in session, and you will need to recall and talk to the clerk of the house to call the meeting and this, 10 days. So if they don't, which I actually don't see any reason why they won't today, because they, like the Mother Man said the other time, these are people who also perhaps, I don't know the number of people that Wiki paid the application forms, like you said.
So Barrister, please, Barrister, so hypothetically, if the National Assembly supports the president, what would be the legal limits to the duration of this state of emergency?
The time that he said, Mr. President did not really talk about the time of the state of emergency. He only talked about the suspension of the elected officers for 6 months in the first instance. That's the foundation that the possibility of extending it and some other things. But I am even talking of it being illegal. Is a void action that cannot stand at all. And you can be sure that in a couple of days you will hear our court speaking. So eventually, virtually all these people have also, all these institutions being bastardized.
So Barrister, you are saying that whether or not the National Assembly support or annul this decision, that the courts will still have to decide. Is that what you're saying, Barrister?
Court will have to decide, yes. Court has decided it, and court will still have to decide.
Oh, you mean regardless of the decision of the National Assembly?
Like, we don't demand that we from the East. We say we are living in the zoo. We cannot continue.
Oh, Barrister, I'm saying, are you saying that regardless of the decision of the stand of the National Assembly, that regardless of their stand, the courts will have the final say?
Whatever stand that is taken by the National Assembly, the court has taken stand before, court will still take stand on this. I can assure you that. 2004, we knew the decision of the Supreme Court on Darie. 2006, we knew the decision of the Supreme Court on Fayoshe. So this will not be number. This won't be the first, and it won't be the last. But we are praying that this will be the last, so that we pray that we'll be having Democrats in position of powers. When you don't have Democrats, pretenders, it's always the problem.
Thank you. Honorable Odike, I'll take this as your part in short, maybe from my end at least. In that press release by the state, the suspended governor now, where he was reacting to that decision, he said, I address you today with a deep sense of responsibility and calm as we navigate this unfortunate moment in our state's political history. And he ended it, he said, we have always been a resilient people, and we will face this situation with wisdom, patience, and unwavering faith in the democratic process. God bless Rivers State and, of course, the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Sasim Fubara, GSSRS. Now, two questions for me. Number one is this. You talked about that your prince, many persons have said he has lost his structure, especially at the National Assembly, but you confirmed just a while ago to say he still has some National Assembly members. That is a split, support for different camps. Now, don't you think it's high time this camp thing is, crumbled? Let everybody be back to basic. But very importantly, we are in a critical time. The National Assembly will be making a decision today. At least the Rivers State caucus at the National Assembly How many of them are with your principal? And number two, what is next?
Well, let's keep our fingers crossed and see. Let's not jump the gun and see what the National Assembly comes up with at the end of today. If by the grace of God and then for good conscience sake, because I've had some of them, there's one who spoke yesterday, I think from the House of Reps, one gentleman that spoke. He said that for a good number of them, that they feel that the decision of the president to suspend or to remove the governor from office was overreaching, and that they are taking a stand that
all right, we're having some issues with the connection. We'll try and get back with Honorable Odike before we say our byes, but maybe we take you have a question for the barrister.
Barrister, yeah, it's actually about the second question I asked, Barrister. Under what condition, Barrister Joba, if you can hear me, under what condition can this state of emergency be extended?
What? Thank God that Mr. President also narrated some things. You know, from the Mr. President's narration, he's seen Fubara and maybe Fubara majorly, and maybe the state assemblymen as disrespecting him because he said he mediated and they went back to do something else. So maybe, because that is the major thing I could say here. That is the major thing. Now, if those things are still there, of course, it will still hide under so many stories of insecurity and some other things.
I understand Mr. Odike is back. Sorry, Barrister.
Insecurity in Benue, in Northeast, and all those areas.
Barrister Joba, can you please hold on, sir? The Honorable is back. And quickly, we are totally out of time. You have tried to say maybe they are still allies, but I dare say we learned the military men that rode into River State, especially. We learned through the pages of the newspaper that they have taken over the government house. There is now a new administrator in town. I dare ask, where is Sasim Fubara today?
The Sasim Fubara is wherever he is. He's in good condition, and there's no cause to worry.
There's new administrator in town now. How will you, the people of River State yourself, the man has said, I will work with every stakeholder. How will you work with him in this matter? Because this is about River State, not about different camps at this time.
Mr. Femi, I don't know if it's Femi or Daniel.
Femi, yeah.
The truth of the matter is, let's await the approval or non-approval of this state of emergency proclaimed by the president today by the National Assembly.
All right, we wait.
It is after then. It's after then that we'll know. What if the National Assembly proves that they can stand on their own and ensure that illegality does not stand,
all right,
and then refuse to give approval?
We'll be on this matter.
The sole administrator will go.
We are totally out of time. We must thank you, Honorable Odike. Thank you, media aid on new media to Governor Fubara, and of course, social commentator and lawyer Oluwaseun Ajoba. Thank you, sir. We wish you all the best. The people of River State, we wish them all the best, and of course, the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Emeka Dani.
Well, thank you once again for joining us. Absolutely. On this episode of Morning Spring on Western Spring Television. Don't forget, you can also have access to this conversation on YouTube on Western Spring Television. Emeka Daniel is my name.
Right.
Good morning and have a wonderful day.
And of course, Femi Ojo is my name. Do well to help someone today. But very importantly, please stay alive. A big shout out to the production team that have put this together with us. Enjoy the rest of your day. God bless Nigeria.